Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, going to have a loaded show for you today here on Inside Arkansas Live. We'll get to What to Watch, presented by Bryant Technologies. We'll have who our heavy hitters are, presented by HD Roofing and Construction. Also get into Alumni Hall question of the day, Vibe Check the Chat, presented by our friends over at Basis Health, and as well as, of course, getting to What's More Likely, presented by BetSaracen. But either way, it's going to be a fun-filled show, and let's get the elephant out of the room here, Andrew, because I'm sure people are wondering. Yeah, Curtis isn't here. He's up traveling. He'll be on the show tomorrow, and Andrew will not be on the show because he'll be down in Baton Rouge. So everyone's like, "Where's Curtis?" He's fine. He's good. He'll be back on the show tomorrow.
Everybody should tweet at Curtis and say, "Hey man, why aren't you on Inside Arkansas Live?" All at the same time, he'll just go nuts. He'll be pulling what little is left of his hair out. And but it's gonna be good. We're running the show today, and we got it under control. We don't need Curtis's brilliant basketball insight. We can make it through an hour and a half or hour and 25 minutes, however long it ends up being. But we will miss him, and y'all will miss me tomorrow.
I love how you're just wanting him to have a miserable time immediately. Just be like, "Hey, tweet at Curtis," and tweet everything, just the same question over and over again. It's like, why you got to do that to the man? Man, he's out here trying to be having a good time, and you're just trying to make him miserable.
What's the latest on Kevin or Carter Knox? I almost said Kevin Knox. What's the latest on Carter Knox as well? He'll be on Virginia Beach trying to. Hopefully, he's not getting rained on. I haven't checked the weather. I know he's a little bit worried about that. Hopefully, he's not getting rained on in Virginia Beach and reading all these tweets people are tweeting at him.
Yeah, let's hope that's not the case. But who knows? Maybe he's interested in watching, that white smoke from the Sistine Chapel, because apparently that's a thing. The Pope apparently has been announced, selected, or I don't know how that stuff works. But that's what just my timeline has been filled with. Not trying to be blasphemous or anything. It's just the smoke coming from the chapel means there's a new Pope. Which, shout out, remember when Arkansas did that for, was it Muss? When they did the red smoke?
Was it Muss?
I think it was Muss.
I feel like your check is big. It has run it back a couple times though, where he'll put out the smoke. Maybe was it Pittman too? Did they do it for Pittman? Probably
it was such a success the first time around. They had to do it again the next time around. Could have been that too, but yeah. I mean, hey, listen, it's what you got to do. Sometimes where you have some fun with it, and hopefully no one takes any sort of way back. And there were some people that actually thought it was real for Arkansas. Like they really was like, "Oh man, when did we get the chimney of the smoke over there at Bud Walton?" It's like, nope. That's not.
We really hired the Pope. That's crazy.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe the next time they get a new coach, they'll do that again. But yeah, that's I know it's a big thing for everybody. But we're gonna talk some and have some fun again. We'll have not only some Razorback baseball, basketball, football, and everything, but I want to remind everybody that at 1:30 today, Corey Robinson, the Razorback offensive lineman, the new one, the Georgia Tech transfer, he's going to be joining us at 1:30. Get to talk to him about his process and everything, which, what's sad is not in a bad way, but just it's almost like I'm more interested in hearing from him, not about hey, give me the breakdown of the offensive tackle position and what it's looking like. It's more like, dude, what's it like being in the transfer portal in the NIL era? And how insane is that? Is it overwhelming? Is it so much different from the high school recruiting? Because you're being re-recruited. Is it that much different? Is it better? Is it worse? It's almost just like I want to know more about the journey more so than about the too deep at the offensive tackle position.
Yeah, well, and it's also funny if you just look at the Arkansas offensive line, of all the question marks that we're kind of wondering about, Corey Robinson, weirdly enough, is not one of those. He's a guy that we're kind of assuming is going to be really good. And so if we were going to be asking questions about the offensive line, it wouldn't be about Corey Robinson. We kind of need that to be a no nonsense, no drama position there. And it does, by all indications, it does seem like that will be the case, that Arkansas has a left tackle. They also have Carmona, who's going to be good wherever he's at. And so you kind of need Robinson and Carmona to be that stability. And so looking forward to seeing him play, and hope he's embracing being a Hog. I imagine Arkansas's not one of the worst places to be an offensive lineman.
I wouldn't think so, but he's a Georgia boy and played at Georgia Tech. And some people forget that, he's kind of been all over the place. He played at Kansas, to start his career, and then went to Georgia Tech. So just kind of going back and forth. But it'll be good to catch up with him and hear from an actual player and the newness of it all. And I don't think we have to worry about him, bouncing out like some other players did from the transfer portal or anything. So it'll be good catching up with him at around 1:30. I just wanted to bring up this as the question kind of is posed there too. The Cal legacy. People are going to be like, "Oh man, what do you mean? He's been here 1 year." Let me explain
a little.
Yes, let me explain. I was talking with actually a Kentucky media guy yesterday, and we were just talking about Cal and everything. And he was like, "But what do you think? He's always going to be remembered for his time at Kentucky, first and foremost, and then at Memphis." But maybe at UMass, but where do you guys think that he's gonna fit into his legacy? Is he gonna be, just because you're the last stop doesn't mean you get remembered? Is it gonna be on the same level of UMass, or where's it gonna be at? And I thought it was pretty fascinating, because that is, when you have a Hall of Fame coach, it's like where do you see him at? We see in football and in sports, players play at one place forever and dominate, and then at the end of their career they go to one spot, and it's kind of like look at Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady had a lot of success at Tampa Bay, had won a Super Bowl. But is he going to be remembered for that as much as he was his time in New England? No, because longevity matters. But the question becomes for Cal, and assuming he has success, we'll see what type of success he has. Like, where will that rank, and how will that be as far as the viewpoint when he retires from the game in his time at Arkansas? Will it be remembered as much as anything, or will it just be on the back burner towards the end of his career? Like, that was just a weird thing.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I think there's a very good chance. And who knows how it's going to play out. I mean, Arkansas went to the Sweet 16 year one. We have reason to believe they're going to have a chance to make deep runs in March. I think there's a very good chance that John Calipari's Arkansas tenure is kind of like the answer to a trivia question in 30 years, that people are like, "Oh yeah, what was that? Oh yeah, he had a stint at Arkansas. He was there for 4 years." I don't imagine it's going to be like line number 1 in his Hall of Fame entry, which, I mean, he's already in the Hall of Fame, so they've already written that. So he's quite literally already inducted as not a Razorback. But no, it's definitely not going to take over his Wikipedia page. But I do think if you're a Hog fan and you're looking at this, one, we kind of know that. We've never run from that. Like, he spent whatever it was, 16 years at Kentucky. Like, we kind of knew that was going to be, and of course, Kentucky's a very big national program. We kind of knew that was going to be the case. I think if you're an Arkansas fan, you need to be thinking, one, let's tie him in national titles. He won 1 national title at Kentucky. For as long as he was there, won 1. If he wins a national title at Arkansas, I don't think Hog fans are going to care at all. Sure, we'd probably like to say, yeah, he loved his time at Arkansas more, and we can have those conversations. I think the goal should not be overtaking the rest of his legacy. But I think if you're a Hog fan and he's here for 5 years and he wins a natty, you could look at Kentucky fans and say, we got some awesome Cal years, and we didn't even get all the drama. We didn't even get all the highs and the lows and all that. And so really, I think that's the goal. But ultimately, I do think, big picture, Arkansas is certainly not going to replace the rest of Cal's career as his home. He's not going to be remembered as a Razorback, but hey, he can have a lot of success there. And I mean, hell, the crazier things have happened. I mean, he's not the oldest guy in the world, so who knows how long he's going to be at Arkansas. But I imagine if you're a Hog fan, I think the best realistic scenario is that he has a lot of success. We look back on it fondly, but it's not like the defining moment of his career.
And I think that's because I agree. But that's the thing I think Razorback fans may have to get used to. They won't care if they wins a championship. Everything will be gravy. Everything's going to be great. But I mean, it would be a weird thing to say if you didn't know it was John Calipari. You just take the name out of it and you tell Razorback fans, hey, by the way, you're going to have a coach that's going to win a national championship at Arkansas in basketball. Oh, man, that's awesome. But that's not what he's going to be remembered for in his entire career.
Yeah.
Wait, how does that work? Because Nolan Richardson, that dude's known, and it's Arkansas basketball, Razorback basketball, 40 minutes of hell. Boom. That's what it is. Even, Frank Broyles, hey, Arkansas, 64 championship, AD, all of that. Dave Van Horn, he didn't even have to win one, but let's all hope he does. But even then, it's going to be, hey, Arkansas, that's what it is. That's all that people care about. That's what's going to be kind of a weird thing to grasp, where when Cal would get brought up anytime, it would start usually with Kentucky in his time there, and then be after he won a title in 2012, Anthony Davis, all these players, he also went to Arkansas and won a title. It'd be the secondary thing, which again, I know fans won't care in Arkansas because you won. That's all that matters. But it is just a funny thing, because you would think if any coach in any sport won a national championship at Arkansas, that's what they're always going to be remembered for, but not Cal.
That is a good point. It is kind of a weird way to look at it, where that would just never happen. I mean, if any football coach came to Arkansas and won a title, it would define their entire life. If Dave Van Horn wins a title at Arkansas, it's going to be the thing that we talk about. That is kind of an interesting way to look at it. But honestly, man, I think when Cal first got hired and we were kind of doing this national debate with Kentucky fans and whoever about what this meant and what the expectations were for him at Arkansas, I think the fact, like, just him not being a Pulmonary, frankly, him not being just a guy who's like goes and has a job when he's way over the hill. Because there was a lot, I mean, there was a point where, I mean, Kentucky fans will still look you dead in the face and say, that's what's happening. He is actually doing that. And like, I think Hog fans, there should be, it's tough to say that to Hog fans, like, hey, you should be happy with just him not being an idiot, this not being like a disastrous chapter of his career. Honestly, John, could Cal at Arkansas be just like maybe like a souped up version of Mac Brown at North Carolina for what he did at football, where he like had this weird, now it's a little bit different because Mac Brown retired and was like out of the game for a while and came back. But I think it could be like a little bit better version of that if Arkansas goes to an Elite Eight, Final Four, is in that mix a little bit.
I mean, I think that has to be one of the closest examples you can get to, because it's not like a common thing where a coach wins a title in major college sports and then later in his career goes to another major program, which I'm not saying that Arkansas and Kentucky are on the same level, but it's not like Arkansas's chopped liver either. Like, they're a very historic program. And then to win at a high level at that point, there's just not many cases of that, not many examples of that. And so, yeah, it would be my favorite thing ever. It's more than likely not going to happen. In fact, I would put a less than 1% chance of it happening. But Andrew, could you imagine if Cal won 2 titles at Arkansas, like, over the next 4 years? Like, could you then that, to me, that changes everything. That changes everything. And even if you won 1, obviously, but if you won 2 at Arkansas, suddenly it would be like, well, but man, it was great at Kentucky and all that, but man, Arkansas just got him to that next level. I'm not saying that would still be what everybody would remember him for, but people would start to wonder about, was it more of a Kentucky problem than an Arkansas thing? Was it just timing? What could it be? That would be what would be awesome, but also hysterical, because then a lot of people just wouldn't know what to think about Cal and his legacy.
You know what? So if he won 2, I think that at that point, 1, if you're a Razorback fan, 1, we would be the cockiest fan base of all time. Inside Arkansas would probably be billionaires. We would probably take this thing to the moon. So I'm going to ignore that aspect of it. But when you said it, that's what went through my brain. What it would do is solidify John Calipari as like the most iconic figure of the last, like, he would, I mean, I'm not saying you'd all of a sudden say, hey, he's better than Coach K, but like, I think Coach Calipari's long-term legacy and like impact and relevancy in the cultural landscape of the world we live in would go further than Coach K's. I mean, because think about it. Think about how big and how polarizing and how accomplished Cal is right now. If you added 1 national title, that doubles. If you add a second, then all of a sudden our Hog fans are pointing at Kentucky and saying, we are living our dream over here. Like, it would change the landscape of basketball in the country and in the SEC, which is a thrilling thing to think about. But also, I really do think, like, you would then look back at it and you would say, like, damn, it would remind me a little bit of Peyton Manning. You remember when Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl at age 42? And like, weirdly enough, it was like Peyton Manning way over the hill, and it was a defense championship. But it, like, in a weird way, kind of validated some of the things we said about Peyton Manning when he was coming up, when he was leading the league in passing. And we were like, this might be the best quarterback we've ever seen. Him getting that second ring, even though it wasn't necessarily in his prime, kind of validated all of that. I think it would be kind of like that with Cal, where as much as we've complained and we've nitpicked the guy, and I say we, I mean just the national public, and we've kind of like tried to tear him down every step. If he wins even 1 national title at Arkansas, that whole narrative changes. And I think hell, if he won 2, Hog fans really would be able to look at Kentucky and be like, hey, this worked out well for, who knows what Mark Pope would be doing in this time period. But regardless, even if Pope won a title at Kentucky, you'd still look back at Arkansas and you'd be like, we took the most iconic coach in college basketball and we had the best era of our program's history. Like, it would be, I mean, this Hog fan base, which is already feeling itself after a Sweet 16, they would be on a different level. And I live for that.
Oh, dude, I get excited just at the thought of something like that, because all the reasons you said, but also if you won 1 title, I don't think we'd be invited back to the state of Kentucky. But if you won 2 titles, we would actually have a legislature and policy put into place that we are not, we will be shot on sight if we enter into the bordering state of Kentucky. Like, it would be
Yeah.
I'd be that obnoxious. I'd be that awful. And I think all Razorback fans would. And it would just provide such a national landscape. And it would like, what is it? The rising tide lifts all ships. Like it'd be that where, football, baseball, everything about Arkansas gets elevated a little bit. And just everybody's hearing about him, talking about him. And then whoever the next coach ends up being, you're in a position to where you can go and get somebody incredible. Like it really just changes, as you said, the entire landscape of all of it. And we're having some fun here. Like we're just wishful thinking to win one title. To get to a Final Four would be awesome. But like we're just saying that like Calipari, is it so stupid and crazy to even consider the fact that this man could win a title, much less two at Arkansas? I don't think it's the stupidest thing in the world. We're not basing it off of nothing because he's won one already. But is it likely? No. But still, it's fun to think about what that would do and how that would change so much for Razorback fans, for the state of Arkansas, for the athletic department. And Cal, dude, man, just what at Arkansas, do you build him a statue? Do you like name a street after him? You can't just let him go off into the wind with nothing. So it would just change so much, man.
Yeah, when you think about how much fun Cal had this past season, he claims this was, and who knows, I'm sure he was just lying a little bit, but he says it's the most rewarding coaching season he's had. So imagine if you add in a couple years. And look, let's not even do the 2 national title game. Let's just say Arkansas makes a Final Four, makes an Elite Eight, and then hey, maybe let's I don't know. We won't even do the title thing, but just like if Arkansas rattles off 3 or 4 seasons where they're in that national mix, making deep runs, having a lot of fun, Cal really would probably look back at it and say, you know what, that might have been my favorite years of my career because I was away from all the craziness. But going back to the point of Cal and just how powerful he is and how everything he does, there's a ripple effect. Think about how dangerous, like as soon as John Calipari got hired at Arkansas, we immediately knew, we were like, Arkansas could have the best roster in college basketball. Now, I don't know if they had that. I think they had a good team last year. They had a good offseason. And I don't know if they necessarily had that this year. We're going to see where they land in the hell. Some people don't even think they're a top 25 roster in basketball. But we just kind of know that's the ceiling. And so Cal coming off even a Sweet 16, you kind of feel like, okay, that gives him a little bit of power. That kind of dynamic is always going to ramp up. The more success he has at Arkansas, the more dangerous he becomes. And so when we think about this world that we're living in, this what's the utopian society or whatever, where we're like, man, this is awesome and the greatest things are happening, it would also make Cal so dangerous. Some of the rosters Arkansas would be able to put together. Because think about when he was rolling at Kentucky and it was like the cool thing to do. He would have years where he would have 3 of the top 6 recruits or whatever. And he would just be, that would be his class. And that was before the portal. Now he would probably be mixing in a top portal class, top freshman class. Like some of the rosters Arkansas would be able to put together. Hell, we've been saying for a while, he's due for like a number 1 overall type of recruit. And hell, he might be in the mix for a couple of those in the classes coming up. I think that if the more success he has at Arkansas, it's going to breed just Cal becoming that cool guy figure again. And it's just going to continue to raise the ceiling even further on what this program can do. And regardless of what they're able to get out of that, maybe it will only be an Elite Eight run. Maybe it will only be 1 Final Four run and not a title, or maybe it will be a title. Who knows? But regardless, it's going to set Arkansas basketball up better in the future. And I think for Arkansas as a program, we said it at the time when he got hired. We were like, look, we don't know what this is going to look like, but this is a dice roll that you just have to do. And I still feel that way. Like it probably isn't going to work out where we're the program of the future and we dominate this decade. But like for Arkansas basketball and how the vibes it was when Muss left, this is most certainly a worthwhile adventure. And that's what's so fun is that any success Cal has, your imagination can run wild. You can kind of talk yourself into, man, they really could do this. And man, they really could actually bring in this guy. And, oh, this guy might actually want to flip because he thinks Cal is cool. And I just look forward to when Cal and Arkansas become the cool thing nationally again.
Yes. Yeah, I do too. I just would love to have all that, all the smoke, all the content where it would just be so much fun. And also for Cal to win a championship at a school that actually cares about more sports than just basketball. I mean, that would be also pretty funny to see, where it's like, not like they just put all their eggs in one basket in basketball. It may have been the majority, but it wasn't we don't care about any other sport. It's like, no, care about a lot of other things too. So, but we'll get to your chats, folks. We'll get to other topics too. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Sure to hit that like button, by the way. But let's go ahead and get into what to watch for, presented by our friends over at Bryant Technologies, where they're dedicated to delivering that high quality service infrastructure for security camera solutions, where they take pride in their exceptional workmanship and the commitment to keeping your business operations seamlessly connected as well as secure. Whether it's structured cabling, security camera installation, digital signage, TV mounting, all those things, Bryant Technologies has you covered as they service the entire state of Arkansas as well as Arkansas's bordering states. So have Bryant Technologies help you with all of your network and security needs. Give them a call today at 870-883-0330 or check out their website at bryantstechnologies.com with that S in between, bryantstechnologies.com. It's Bryant Technologies, quality work guaranteed. All right, so what to watch for? By the way, a pope for the first time ever, I know it's not sports, is American. An American pope for the first time ever from Chicago.
What's his name?
How about that? His name is, well, actually, let me see. I retweet it. Pope or Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost of Chicago has been elected as the 267th leader of the Catholic Church, but he will be known as I don't know Roman numerals. I got Pope Leo XIV. What is that? 16, 14?
XIV. So that would be 14.
14. So Pope Leo the 14th. That's what he's going to be known as. So
interesting. That? I don't want to expose myself as not knowing anything, but I don't really understand the Catholic Church, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really understand how it works. Like, I've always heard terms like Pope and all this, but I'm sure this is a big deal, and I can tell it's a big deal because of the way everybody's tweeting about it. But I guess, how many times have we had a pope, like a new pope? How many times is that? How often does that happen?
I mean, it's just whenever the other one dies, I think, but it's 267th. So
how long was the guy before this guy? How long was he poping it up?
I think it was like 15, 20 years, something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I don't know much about it either. I just have to rely on my Catholic friends because that's all they do is they're just Catholic. So roll with it. But
do people get to vote on this?
I don't think so. I think, again, I don't know. Don't ask me questions I don't know about either. It's like I'm going to end up saying something and then I'm going to get struck by lightning or something like that.
As a non-denominational Christian growing up, this Catholic stuff, I don't get it. I also don't get why they molested the boys in the youth group. Why do they do that? Did he comment? Like, I don't know. I don't understand the Catholic Church. I really don't.
We're going to start getting everyone upset at us, Andrew. We got to keep this moving on. Jeez, man. But either way, that to watch. But also on the other side of it too, you got a shout out to Razorback softball. They actually play again the game got moved to 12:45 today, but apparently Bri Ellis, he had to pitch to her yesterday and she just hit a grand slam walk-off to win it. So
dude, how about first swing of the day?
Stupid, dude.
Swing of the day. Did not swing the bat, dude. It's crazy. And I tweeted this. I was just seeing a video of Chipper Jones. Like 2 weeks ago, I saw a video of Chipper Jones and they asked him who the best baseball player he ever saw was. And he was like, dude, it's easily Barry Bonds. He was like, this guy would not get pitched to throughout a whole weekend. He would play a whole game and he would see one strike and he'd hit it 500 feet. Like, it was like, just, you kind of knew. And it's kind of that way with Bri Ellis, where you see teams, I mean, they show the walk rate. It's crazy how teams, if you don't have to pitch to her, do not pitch to her. They finally get a situation where the winning runs at third. They have to throw her a strike. First strike she sees off the freaking, it wasn't off the foul pole, but it was like, is there like a little net back there that it hit off of?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, she just hit and it just dropped like immediately down. Like, it just was a no doubter, which is crazy because that's breaking a school record for Arkansas of most home runs in a season and ties the SEC record for most home runs in a season. So she hits one more. She's a season single season record holder for the conference. Which last I checked, the SEC has a pretty good softball and pretty good softball players. But either way,
they do. Are they playing today? By the way, Arkansas softball.
What's up?
Arkansas softball. They playing today?
Yeah, I assume. I was just saying at 12:45 today.
Oh, okay. So like during the show.
Yeah.
Live watch along 12:45. You want to do it?
Well, it's apparently supposed to be at 1, but I guess they moved it up to 12:45. I don't know. Maybe a game got done early, so they're like, which is nice that people do that and conferences do that. They're like, oh, the game is run rule or ended early. Yeah, we're still just going to sit here for an hour and just hang out. It's like, no.
I respect this move, especially with the way weather works. Think about how much we've been affected by weather. When we get to Hoover, which neither of us are going to Hoover, I don't believe.
Thank goodness.
But when Hoover happens, it's going to be an absolute disaster.
Yep, it's going to be nasty.
When I saw Ellis's dominance, I thought we were going to be talking about me on the show today, but I guess we are talking Bri Ellis.
But
We'll give her the nod.
Well, that's the thing is it's double meaning,
Open to interpretation, I guess.
That's right. I mean, we could sit here and talk about whatever you've dominated. I don't know what you've been dominating, but we could probably make something up real quick if we needed
the airwaves.
There you go, dominating the airwaves. So, but yeah, that'll be happening today as well. We'll have some other things to get to as well because there'll be some with like the NBA playoffs last night. There's some stuff I want to get into that. I use that for heavy hitter as well as some Razorback baseball. But we're going to continue it on here and get into the chat presented by our friends over at Basis Health. It's a vibe check, and they are changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home. Doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. Basis Health, they are here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. All right, so go ahead and getting into our chat here, folks. Shout out to our guy Curtis, because apparently he just couldn't stay away. He has to still get some Inside Arkansas Live in him a little bit. He says Michelle, his wife, is sitting by me on this airplane playing a game, aggressively nodding her head like John. Good memories, man. Is
2048?
Yeah, is it 2048? Is the plane being turbulent, or is that just her vibe all the time?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you get into a rhythm every now and then right before the plane like takes off where you're swiping and your head is nodding with the swiping. And then as you get more and more nervous, you start. And so it's like beep, 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 beep. You start getting into a rhythm there. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, I know. It's like I get to where I'm just trying to do whatever I can to not to not focus on the movement of the plane, but just movement of myself. So I go into my own little world, and that's what it is. But glad to see that somebody else does it besides me. It's good to see. Let's see. Also, like this from Brandy. It says, I was listening to the show in my car and didn't think my 6-year-old heard what Andrew said. The next day I got a call from the principal telling me she said F it to the teacher. Wow, Andrew. Wow. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. Got to wash your mouth out with soap.
I'm calling BS, but if this is a true story, that's the influence of Andrew Ellis there.
Yeah, that's what
guiding the young minds.
That's what you get when you listen to the show here today. Let's see. Also, love like Pooh Bear just gave me like Curtis. Well, Curtis isn't here, so love the pictures. At what's his name? Hezbollah, yeah. Curtis, can we talk about Tyran Stokes and his visit to Arkansas? This could very well be Cal's best recruit in his tenure at Arkansas, number 1 overall player in the 2026 class, and he is special. Andrew, can you take Curtis's spot here?
Not really, but what I can say is that we have alluded to this a little bit, that like Arkansas's had a bunch of 5-stars here lately, and I know Nick Smith was depending. I know in 24/7 he might have been the number 1 player. He's probably the closest Arkansas's had to having a top player in the class, depending on where you look. But the guys that Cal's had at Arkansas, I mean, he's had some good recruits. I mean, Boogie Flam was a 5-star. Carter Knox was a 5-star. I think Billy Richmond was either a 5-star, kind of in that mix as well. But these guys were ranked in like the 15 to 25 range. Cal, historically, and I will say about Cal, as much as we talk about how great of a recruiter he is, and he's got a great resume, he has been kind of not getting the number 1, number 2 overall type of guys for a while. And that kind of started back in whenever Duke got RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, and Zion that same year. I remember that being a changing of the guard where it was like, oh, wow, Cal is not just an auto lock to get the number 1 guy. But I think Arkansas, I mean, I think it's only a matter of time. I mean, this Stokes kid could very well be that kind of guy, that kind of addition for Arkansas. It's only a matter of time before Arkansas gets someone of this caliber. It might not be this kid. It might not be, whoever the next guy or Nate Amin or whoever it is, but it's like Arkansas is going to get a guy in that echelon. It's only a matter of time. And so, of course, we're still going to need the portal guys. We're still going to need other secondary pieces. But again, it kind of goes back to our point of how high your ceiling is as a program when Cal's your head coach. This is the type of guy that even 4 years ago, Arkansas would have never even considered being in the mix for.
Yeah, and it throws me off because when I see him and see that he plays at Notre Dame, like that's the high school name, is the high school that he plays for is called Notre Dame. So, and they are the Irish, and it looks exactly like the same. But he doesn't play there. He's not a transfer. He's not anything like that. But yeah, that would be nice because I guess to this point, at least here recent history, Arkansas is getting Nick Smith was their highest ranked recruit. And there's not to say there's anything against getting an in-state kid, but man, if you were able to get the number 1 overall player from out of state, especially a guy like from California way out there, just shows you the global branding that you have and how you're able to pull down one of those. So yeah, that would be huge. That would be huge. Let's see. Oh, Kale wants to know what time is the pod with Kendall Rogers.
Well, it'll probably be out. I've been putting him out at about 5:00 the last few days. I'm recording with him at 2:30. If it's hot off the presses, I got to get it out immediately. Maybe I will, but yeah, it'll be out in the next few hours or so. We'll say that. I'm excited for that, man. I'm excited to talk to Kendall Rogers. And we did, by the way, we did clarify. Did we talk about that on air or was that off air where me and you were talking about how Kendall Rogers, the manana thing? We did clarify today is when we're doing it. And so it works out. And yeah, I was worried he was going to duck me because Hog fans were tweeting at him like crazy on Monday. YG Wranglers number 7, you suck. And I was like, guys, listen, trust me, we got this. So
Yeah.
I look forward to him clearing up a lot. I look forward to also hearing his thoughts on Arkansas LSU. I mean, Kendall Rogers, for my money, I mean, I'm not just saying because he's coming on the show. Like, he's pretty much the best national guy for college baseball, right? Outside of like maybe like Kyle Peterson or someone that's calling games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, to me, when I think of if like college baseball national guy, who is, I think of Kendall Rogers, like every time.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been doing it for a long time, dude. I remember having him on my radio show back in 2015, 2016. Yeah. So dude has been doing it for a long time, and he's always been with D1 baseball too. So it just kind of shows you the growth that they have. But yeah, that'll be a good one there too. Let's see some other. We're talking about Cal and everything. OKC Hog says that would be great, but I'd be happy with just one national championship. I want one so bad, and if Cal provides that, him, and Nolan Richardson will be the GOATs of Arkansas basketball. I think that'd be safe. Yeah.
And I mean, like we said, national championships, anytime you get one of them, that usually defines your entire life. Hog fans, we can talk about what it means, but like we won't be complaining too much about, oh, is his Hall of Fame bust going to have Kentucky? We'll just be happy we got a natty. We'll be so. I mean, the difference between 1 and 2 doesn't sound like a big deal. You go from 1 national title to 2 as a program. You've now entered like the elite echelon. There are a lot that have 1. There are not that many that have 2.
Yeah, and we're talking about like big time programs. Like think about Syracuse. Syracuse has 1. Yeah. You know, Michigan State has 1. I'm trying to think. I think I guess Louisville has multiple for sure. But
I guess they got theirs taken away.
maybe it doesn't count anymore. But no, I'm with you though. It just shows you how extremely difficult it is to win the 1. And there's been a lot of iconic, legendary coaches. And that would be another thing too, to win it with 2 different coaches, like would be another huge accomplishment. Because there's also any program that has multiple, a lot of them have done it with just the 1 coach. So yeah, that would be huge. Let's see. We got, is there a chat that you were laughing at or?
I was laughing at this guy that just says, oh, you are going to get that drama with Cal. Well, are we still doing this, dude? He's been at Arkansas for like 15 months, dude. Like, I understand you've been trying to spell doom for literally over a year now. It's like, dude, like we get it. We understand what we got with Cal. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't, but like just shut the hell up. Like, we do not care.
Yeah. No, he's going to make sure that she's going to show that he cares, even though he probably tells everybody he doesn't care, but he cares. Let's see. We got just random one from Paddlefish. He's like, who was better in his final season, Blaine Knight or Isaiah Campbell?
So I started this one because I like talking about it, honestly. And I feel bad. I know I'm going to get the rednecks are going to yell at me. Not only is the answer Isaiah Campbell, it's really not as close as I think people remember. Like, I know Blaine Knight was 14-0 in the win-loss record, which is like, you know, that's a good stat to have, and it's a cool thing, and it tells the story. Isaiah Campbell went 12-1, and that one was a 2-1 loss on the road against Vanderbilt, who I'm pretty sure won the national title. Yeah, I think they definitely did win the national title. He lost 2-1 to those guys. That right there, and he went 7 innings in that game. I don't think that disqualifies him from being better than Blaine Knight. If you're going to make the case for Blaine Knight, the only thing you would have to say is Isaiah Campbell may have the better ERA, the better whip, the better hits per 9, the better walks per 9, the better strikeouts per 9, the better stuff, the better talent, and he pitched more innings also. But, and you can say whatever you want after that, but you have to say that part first. You have to say every single metric, every single stat points to Isaiah having a better year, but, and then you can say whatever you want to say after that, but you do have to start there.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, Blaine Knight will always be more memorable to me, But Isaiah Campbell is just one of those guys that people forget maybe how dominant he was in his final year, just because you went 0-2 in barbecue in the World Series, which sucks.
By the way, Isaiah, I think in that game in the World Series that he started, Arkansas lost. He got the no decision because when he left, it was a 0-0 game. I think he threw 8 scoreless innings in Omaha, and so it's like you really can't even knock him for that. Unfortunately, that Razorback team, which did have a great year, overall wasn't as good as the 2018 team. And I think that's kind of the difference. Like Blaine Knight got the craziest run support ever, dude. It was unreal. But some of the numbers for Campbell from his career at Arkansas were like kind of staggering. Like just how, or at least that last year, how dominant he really was, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Also, let's see. Evan was like, John, love seeing that clip from Man of the House. Completely forgot about that. Did you see that clip I posted of Tommy Lee Jones tackling Big Red?
I did. I saw the clip you posted, and I was not aware of it before you posted it.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people aren't. And I remember it came out in like 2004. I went and saw it in theaters, or 2005, and it just really upset me. I was like, dude, why are they tackling Big Red? And why does Big Red have an Uzi that's a water gun? Like, come on, what are we doing here? But yeah, if you're talking about famous moments in film with Razorbacks, you got to bring up when Tommy Lee Jones tackled Big Red. And,
I completely did not know about that, but I'm glad you brought it to my attention. That's good stuff.
Yeah, the movie's is whatever, but it's fun fact though. They filmed that scene and everything in 2003 down there in Austin when Arkansas beat them, so they got the last laugh from that one. Okay, also I have to read Fred Chestnut because the Chestnuts are wild. But he says, John, why are you guys not going down to Baton Rouge? I feel like Andrew is being disrespected. Y'all went to football for you in basketball for Big Kurt. Give Andrew his trip.
I'm literally going to Baton Rouge today. Actually, that's not true. I'm going to be there tomorrow morning, but like I'm starting the trek there. Like I'm going to Baton Rouge. I don't know where that got lost in translation. I will be down there. And I also went to Arlington, had a great time there. Did not make the trip to Springfield. That didn't end up happening, but like it's not like we're like anti-traveling for baseball. We were just talking about our Omaha plans. Like we get after a little bit. We're gonna be boots on the ground in Alex box.
Yeah,
I do not feel disrespected, to clarify that.
Yeah, why are you feeling disrespected about the trip you're going down there to do anyways? And hey, listen, we got to start ready getting for postseason in the run to Omaha, because as we were talking about, it's kind of pricey to go to Omaha. I don't know if anyone's ever checked. It's stupid, insanely expensive, and that's why I feel like so many people just and I hate to be this guy, Andrew, but I'm serious. When people ask me, "Hey, I've never been to Omaha, should I go?" I'm like, don't go until at least 4 teams have been eliminated already. Don't go. Don't go for the beginning.
That first weekend is an absolute mess.
It's horrible. It's everything. It's expensive no matter what. But like I was telling Ellis before the show started, just looking at like certain Airbnbs, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, whatever, for a 10-night stay, it was like $10,000. Somebody's going to pay that. It's just so insane. So if you're going to do it, wait until Arkansas makes it to the Final Four at least. Some people may just come to the finals when they make then, but don't go for the beginning if you're trying to save money and save time and save frustrations, because there is a lot of it going on over there.
Well, think about it like this. If you're trying to make that decision and you're like, all right, should I bite the bullet and go that first weekend, or wait until they maybe make the final and then go to that? Think about this. If you break the bank and go to that first weekend and they lose, you probably will regret that decision. Whereas if you wait, and then if they don't make the finals, you'll be like, okay, at least I didn't go watch them lose, because if they didn't make the finals, you wouldn't have wanted to be there anyway. But if you wait and they are in the finals, and then it's actually easier to go to the national title than it is to go to the first weekend. Like, seriously, it's crazy.
Yeah. And Arkansas actually had it really nice in 2018 because Oregon State, they won, but they don't travel like the SEC schools. Like Arkansas, I think it was like 80% of the World Series finals, every game was Razorback fans, far and away.
That's going to be the key, is like, in 2022, when you and I were there separately, you think about the fan bases you had there. You had Arkansas, A&M, Ole Miss, Texas, Notre Dame, who didn't really bring a ton of baseball fans, Stanford, who really didn't bring a ton of baseball fans. Who else was there?
Did you say Auburn already?
Auburn. I didn't say Auburn. They were there for sure. It's like, those are fan bases that like will show up. Of the 8 teams, you got to get a Coastal Carolina in there. You got to get a Stanford in there. You got to get at least 2 or 3 fan bases that will bring 0, because it'll just kind of space it out, and so we can all kind of have some elbow room. But man, it was not fun seeing those Aggies there in 2022. And certainly wasn't fun seeing Ole Miss, especially because they won.
Yeah. If you want to have the least amount of people there in Omaha, just beg that the least amount of SEC teams get in. That's really the only way you can have it happen. Like if you have only 2 SEC teams there, Omaha, the city of Omaha will hate it because they're going to lose money compared to what they normally would do. But yeah, that can be pretty frustrating, pretty miserable if that ends up being the case. But I tell you what, as part of that, we'll get to more of your chats. Let's do your Alumni Hall question of the day, presented by our friends at Alumni Hall. We'll be there a week from tomorrow. So next Friday, we'll be doing Inside Arkansas Live from Alumni Hall. It's the #1 Razorback shopping experience because they have everything you could possibly want. Jerseys, hats. They have decor that you want for men, women, and kids, all the different sizes, the high-end clothing that you could possibly want. And you can shop them in store at 3417 North College Avenue. You can also shop them online at insidearkansas.com/alumni hall. Just be sure to use that code HOGSBY20 for 20% off your purchase with Alumni Hall. So it was just a simple question since you got 2 regular season series left. Which one, if you can only win one, I have to make sure I clarify that because you're going to have both. Yeah, I know. But if you can only win one of the final regular season series for Arkansas against LSU this weekend on the road or Tennessee next weekend in Baum, which one would you choose? Andrew, I don't know if you looked at the poll, but which one would you choose?
So, I got to separate myself personally from this because one, like I'm about to go stay with LSU fans. So like personally me, I would prefer to beat LSU because I hate LSU. That's my favorite team to beat no matter what. And I would like the bragging rights. I really don't want to get ganged up on while I'm in Baton Rouge, which is going to happen no matter what. So I personally would like prefer that one. But from an Arkansas standpoint, I would rather Tennessee. You're at home. You beat Tony V, defending national champs. The crowds are going to be crazy. It would be cooler to win that one. Plus, that'd be the last regular season series you play. So you whip Tennessee's ass, you enter the postseason feeling good about yourself. I would rather that one. But real life, if you're asking Andrew Ellis, I say LSU because F LSU.
Well, I'm glad you centered yourself on that one at least. But yeah, right now, and it's not surprising because the majority agree with you. 76% said they'd rather beat Tennessee in that series than LSU.
I think it's for a lot of those reasons of it being at home. You know, you don't want to lose at home. Like losing on the road isn't fun. Losing at home really isn't fun. Losing to Tony Vitello at home really isn't fun. And so I think there's a lot of Hog fans who probably just have more animosity towards Tennessee's program than they do LSU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. Which, by the way, we'll get to BetSaracen, but I was looking at some of the futures there for the College World Series winner. Arkansas has the best odds according to BetSaracen, where it stands right now at plus 525.
The other day, I said that I was like, hey, this weekend might be a national championship preview. All of a sudden, FanDuel puts out odds that has those teams #1 and #2.
Yeah, I mean, you got Arkansas at plus 525. LSU at plus 650, tied with Tennessee at plus 650. And again, this is according to BetSaracen.
Interesting.
Georgia at plus 1,000. North Carolina at plus 1,400. A&M at plus 1,400. And Texas at plus 1,500.
It's funny to me that A&M has like whatever it was, the 6th best odds. Is that what that is? Considering that like 2 weeks ago, it wasn't 100% that they were going to make the tournament.
Yeah. Well, even like Florida, who is another team that struggled for a while, they're at plus 3,000 there. So, yeah, these are interesting ones here to check out and to see. Even like Auburn, for instance, plus 4,000. So they're down there in the mix.
Honestly, Auburn should feel disrespected that they've put together the year they have, and that these teams that are going to be 3 seeds in certain regionals have them up there. But no, those are some interesting odds. I mean, low key, I think that's worth some investments. Obviously, if you want to bet on Arkansas to win the national title, of course, do it with BetSaracen. And also, and people always make the jokes of like, oh, it's the odds are crazy. Those odds are exactly the same odds as everywhere. Like you're not going to find, it's not a huge gap. You're not like getting, in fact, you can actually get more bang for your buck betting those odds than you can betting other places. But yeah, people always make those jokes, but I also think like there's worth some sprinkles. You know what I mean? Like a team like A&M or Florida's really the one that interests me because they have the talent to do it. A&M is good and better than they've shown. I don't think A&M has the pitching talent to win the title. Florida, as bad as their pitching staff has been, they do have the talent. You know what I mean? Their pitching staff has really like a lot of guys that throw 97. They like are built in a lab to be a team that's a tough out. I was seeing, by the way, John, I was seeing D1 Baseball's regional projections. They have Texas as the #1 overall seed, and then A&M going to Tucson, or where's Arizona? Are they Tucson?
Yes. Yeah, they're Tucson.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess it was a Tucson regional, and A&M was a 3 seed in that, and it would have been lined up with Texas, who did sweep A&M. But I'm like, that would be pretty crazy to see A&M and Texas in a super regional. That would be pretty sick.
I would be so pissed off if I was like Arizona and you get Texas A&M as a 3 seed in your regional. That would be
well, dude.
awful.
And if you're Texas too, that's got to suck too, because you did sweep Texas A&M, so I'm sure they would have confidence going into that matchup. But it's like facing the most dangerous, most pissed off team that you've beaten and you're supposed to beat, but now it's in the postseason. It's like that seems like a little bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know how that would go, but still, I don't know. I just I think that you're never going to please everybody when it comes to those regionals and all that. You're never going to have everybody. But for once, it'd be nice to have other schools, have a little suffering there. And who knows? Maybe that would be happening. Put Texas A&M in Texas's regional. Just get out of the way early. Put them as the 2 seed there.
What'd you say? Do you have the odds pulled up? What's Texas's odds to win the title?
Texas is sitting at plus 1,500.
Dude, that is crazy. They're gonna be the number 1 overall seed. They're the number 1 team in the country, and they're not even like close, dude. That's but I think that's accurate. Like, I really do not think Texas has enough talent to win the national title. I really genuinely in my heart don't. Now, Schlossnagle is gonna overachieve. I will not be stunned if they get to Omaha and make a deep run, but I don't think like they're as big of a threat as LSU or Tennessee by any stretch.
No, I don't either. But I mean, A&M's got better odds than Texas, if you want to really look at it that way. Like, they have better odds in Texas. So, crazy though. But a few chats here real quick too. Heartbroken Hunt says, John, what happens if it's all SEC teams? Well, I think that's an impossibility. I guess, if it really timed up right, that you could have 8 SEC teams in the World Series. But if that happens, Omaha burns. It's going to burn to the ground if 8 SEC teams made it to Omaha, especially if it's all the ones that are the craziest fan bases and get after it. Because there's a lot of little league teams that go to Omaha, and those poor kids, they won't know what to do. They won't know what to deal with. So, but I don't think it's likely, but I can almost guarantee there's going to be at least 4 of the 8 teams from the SEC every year.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, hell, D1 Baseball's projection had 6 SEC teams as national seeds. So even if it was just straight up chalk, and then we just talked about some Floridas, A&Ms that have a chance, and we were talking about the crowd sizes and how we would love for that's a nightmare scenario from that standpoint. I would love for there to be a team in Omaha that's in Arkansas' side that like just has no business being there. By the way, I want to touch on this comment that Bobby said Florida has cooled off. They have very much not cooled off. They have won 10 of their last 12 SEC games, including a series win over the Arkansas Razorbacks. Very much, I don't know what your definition of cooled off is. They have done the exact opposite of that. I would say they have surged back into being a real threat.
Yeah, like these things are week to week, I know, but to give the standings, by the way, as an update, Texas still leads the way, 19-5 in conference play. Arkansas is at 17-7. And they have a 2-game lead in second place. And after that's Georgia and LSU both at 15-9. And hey, Arkansas plays LSU. So that could be a big changer there. Tennessee's at 14-10, trash, alongside with Vanderbilt. Alabama and Auburn, 13-11. They can't separate themselves, but having a nice year, as well as Ole Miss and Oklahoma. All 4 of those teams at 13-11 in conference play. But you mentioned Florida at 11-13. That's probably, people see that like, oh, it's terrible. Well, considering what they've done the past
11, dude.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, they've been doing pretty big things. Kentucky at 10-14, with Mississippi State at 10-14, Texas A&M at 10-14, South Carolina at 5-19, and poor Missouri at 0-24.
Boy, who does Missouri have left? Because I want to see, obviously they're going to be favored to lose to whoever they're playing. But
no matter who it is,
that's going to be the most intriguing story going into the final weekend. Screw all the national seed and the standings. Can they go 0-30? Can they do it?
Yep. Can they make that happen and make it possible? I really hope they do, just for the sake of historical purposes. They got A&M and Mississippi State left.
Oh, dude, yeah. Mississippi State, by the way, Mississippi State fires their coach, and then they go out there and sweep Kentucky, who is actually not bad. Mississippi State is now not even on the bubble. They're not even in the last 4. They're in the field. So they're going to be a tournament team with no head coach. It's crazy, John. This has happened before. In 2018, it was. Florida fired their coach earlier in the year and then wound up going on this crazy run and going. They should have played Arkansas in the title series. Had they done that, Arkansas would have won the national title, but they couldn't knock off Oregon State. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy that Mississippi State, it just seems like they're one of those programs that, like, when you expect them to be good, they're not good. But when you don't expect them to be good, they sneak up on you.
Yeah, it seems like it's always that way. But yeah, well, hoping for the 0-30 season for Missouri, and hopefully that ends up happening for them. Also, too, Hunter Ratio wants to know: would you consider Zach Root and Gage Wood the GOAT of Arkansas pitching if they continue to pop off and go and win a title? Maybe not as talented as Hagan or Kops, but would have achieved more.
This is going to be a hard sell for me, brother. Like a hard sell. And look, Zach Root and Gage Wood are like unreal. I mean, just good pitchers. Also, we're going to have a chance. Both of those guys have a chance to be first-round picks. I saw Joe Doyle, who's one of my most respected draft guys that I go to, said that Gage Wood has a chance to jump into the top 20 to 30 picks. And he doesn't say stuff like that just on a whim. Like, he said that because he's heard that from people that matter. Both those guys are awesome. I don't know how you would be able to make the case for Razorback pitching GOAT when you've had a Golden Spikes winner and then Hagen Smith, who had pretty much the best career out of all those guys. Of course, when you win a national title and you're the first one to do that, that's certainly going to matter. But like we were talking about with Isaiah Campbell, like, I don't think the team around you should dictate like where we place you in the pantheon, you know? I mean, Gage Wood, who has had a good career at Arkansas, he missed most of this year. Zach Root has only been here for a few months, and you guys have hated him for half of those few months. So I don't think he's going to go down as the Razorback pitching GOAT, but we would certainly remember him very fondly. But yeah, no, Hagen is my GOAT. Like, if you ask me, Hagen is my Razorback pitching GOAT, and I don't imagine I'm going to see a better pitcher than Hagen in my lifetime. And Arkansas, at least, I should say.
Well, just, yeah, because the 3 years he was here, he was great all 3 years. Like, that's hard to do. Like,
closer on a College World Series team, all SEC with Paul Skeens as a sophomore on a top 5 team, the best pitcher in the country as a junior. Like, that's a good career. Kops, of course, had the best single season. Like, both of those guys are going to be tough to top, and I don't see Zach Root doing it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Also, I still never forget him striking out 17 batters against Oregon State, who had a phenomenal offense, and doing it in that setting and in that level, and doing it where most of them were swinging at it. Like, that's just insane. Yeah. That's just insane.
That's what I love about Hagen is, like, no matter what you want to place the criteria as, like, if you want to go from a just pure stuff standpoint, it might be Hagen. If you want to go from just a single season, you could place his season last year with anybody. The full career, you could do that. If you want to do his MLB career, he's probably going to have a chance for that as well. If it was as simple as, hey, we've got Barry Bonds at the plate, we need someone to get him out, I think Hagen would probably be your first choice, honestly. Yeah. Left on left, Hagen versus Prime Bonds. Who you got?
yeah, exactly. I go with Hagen. It'd be your best chance at
Hagen
it.
Would get ground out, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, we'll continue to get to more of your chats, folks. But we're going to get to who our heavy hitters are, presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction, which we know storms can hit at any time. And being in the state of Arkansas, it's an awesome place to live. But the weather, you never know. It's very unpredictable. And that's why you need to make sure your roof is safe, sound, and secure. And that's what HD Roofing will do, is giving you that peace of mind, because they give you free inspections. When you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. You can contact them today at 501-428-0429, as well as check out their website at hdarkansas.com. It's HD Roofing. All right, so getting into our heavy hitters, I wanted to bring this up specifically. I could have done Bri Ellis again. I'm like, man, that'd be 3 days in a row. We need to mix it up a little bit. She's just too good. But I will say, last night in the NBA, Jalen Williams took a beating, dude. That guy just, former Razorback, Jalen Williams, for OKC. They were playing the Nuggets, and OKC blew him out. But good grief, man. He got nailed with an elbow by Russell Westbrook, which I don't care what anybody says. There's a little intent behind that. It wasn't like, I mean, he's going for a rebound, but he's going with one hand and then his elbow goes that way. I was like, that's not how you rebound. But Jay Williams got that. And then he just had Jokic just like jump on top of him, like on his, like trying to do a piggyback ride. And then he just fell, which last time I checked, Jokic is a pretty big dude. And so he had a bloody nose. Like, Jalen Williams, man, he was just getting wrecked, but he kept fighting, kept coming back, and kept on playing. So shout out to Jalen Williams. He's one of my heavy hitters for taking a beating, his team getting it done. But for some reason, he just had to take the brunt of Westbrook and Jokic last night.
So, okay, I have that entire series as my heavy hitter. One, because there's now been 2 games. You had the Nuggets take game 1, and then the Thunder bounce back thunderously in game 2. What was the final? It was like 149 to 106, or like it just didn't even look like a real score. And in the NBA, you see a lot of blowouts in the NBA playoffs because the skill level is so high. And so when you have a team that like they fire on all cylinders, like OKC, they went 16 of 36 from 3 last night. Just efficient as hell. They shot 56% from the floor overall. Like, just they have that ability. I mean, OKC's been the best team all year for a reason. You know, they are a well-oiled machine. They've got one of arguably the best player in the NBA right now, and Shea as their closer. But here's where this thing comes down to: when the games get close, and how it got close in game 1, they had that huge collapse. When the game gets close, you don't want to be face to face with Nikola Jokic. That dude's a killer. And he can absolutely dominate a quarter. He can dominate a game. He can dominate a series. I'm just going to trust Jokic in those moments. I think anytime it's a close game, the Nuggets are going to have a chance to win. Last night, the Thunder were just so good that it didn't matter. I mean, they could have played literally any NBA team ever. They would have won last night the way they were playing, and they have that ability. And so it's like the best player versus best team kind of thing, which I always love that dynamic in sports where you have like, just the one guy going toe to toe, like Johnny Manziel going up against Alabama, like that kind of thing going on is always cool. Jamal Murray is also another guy. We've talked about him a couple times, like just a historically great playoff player. He's another guy that's had all these 40-point games. When the game gets tight, I know Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is the MVP, and I love him. He's great. And I know the Thunder are the best team, but when it gets close and they're about to have to go to Denver where the air's a little thin up there, I think Jamal Murray and Jokic are going to give them some trouble. And so it's going to be fascinating. The Thunder have so many good role players like Jalen Williams, like the other Jalen Williams, like Isaiah Joe, like that Harnstein guy. Like they've got all these guys, but I just feel like Jokic is going to be a tough out. I think this series is going 7. Like I really do think it's going to go back and forth. And I think it's going to be a fun one. So everybody should be tapping in.
Yeah, shout out to Isaiah Joe, too. He's efficient because he went 5 of 5, 4 from 3, 14 points for him last night. But yeah, that was great. Also wanted to play this and the other side of it. Boy, the Celtics, it's incredible to see what they have been able to accomplish, where not only are they down 0-2 in the series against the Knicks, but both those games being at home, and in both of those games blowing 20-point leads. That is insanity. Just stupid. And the first team, it was funny, I saw someone's stat say it was like the Knicks are the first team ever to come from behind in the playoffs when they've been down 20 points in 2 different games in the same playoffs. I'm like, so that also means that the Celtics are the first team ever to blow 20-point games there in the same playoffs. But I love this too, because J.R. Smith, man, I just want to play this video. It's great because he played for the Knicks and everything. He was reacting in real time. Can't play the video of the game, but real time the Knicks beating the Celtics, and especially that ending play where they get the steal on Jason Tatum.
He just like an old bed, these soft shoes, goddammit. Come on now. Good shot. Let's go. Let's go. Pressure. There we go. Step up, bruh. Step up, bruh. Step up, bruh. Step up, bruh. No. 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 Oh my God! Oh my God! I see y'all saying TV. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my fucking God! Let's go! Oh, see y'all niggas Saturday. I swear to God, I'll be in the car on Saturday. I'll be at the fucking.
All right, well, not enough. But anyways, that was the gist of it all right there too.
Is that the former collegiate golfer J.R. Smith?
Yeah, the guy, the great golfer that was there. Yeah, he was big time, man. He was big time. So for what he was able to accomplish and being a college golfer, and I think I forgot which school it was, but either way, I just love reaction.
Was it like Bethune-Cookman or something like that?
Yeah, it's something random, but I just love videos like that with reactions that end up, of course, I don't know, filming yourself and giving a reaction is kind of weird in the moment, but then when you see it, it's actually pretty funny. So
My favorite J.R. Smith story, who, by the way, like one of the funnier NBA players like just ever. He was also great, like a great player.
Yeah.
I think he maybe won a 6 Man of the Year a couple times, but he's just like a fun guy to have around. When he was in the Nuggets, one time he showed up for a game and they were messing with him in the locker room, and they were like, "Hey, JR, they're doing drug tests before the game, right?" And he was like, "Are y'all serious?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they were messing with him. He leaves. He literally left the arena and went home and skipped an NBA game because he thought they were going to drug test. And he was like, I'm not going to be here. And like, there was no drug test, but he was just like, cannot risk it. And just left the game. And I think there's a picture of him and Allen Iverson playing pool at halftime, like in their uniform. And like J.R. Smith, man, one of the all time NBA personalities. But the NBA playoffs, man, it's been cool to see. Like, I've been forcing Curtis to watch as many NBA games because I'm just like, dude, you got to watch NBA with nothing going on in college basketball, nothing going on in the portal. We got to get these NBA games, and it's been good. Shout out to Scotty because he's been helping with that as well. Scotty's a huge NBA guy.
Yeah, I know he's a big Suns guy, which obviously that didn't work out over there for them, but still, yeah, that was a lot of fun to see. And I feel like every game's either been blowout or blowout and a comeback. Like there's just always at some point in time in the game, someone's up by 20 plus points, no matter what.
Well, dude, this is a great comment from Heartbroken All because he's right. A 20-point lead isn't nearly as meaningful as it was even just 10 years ago. And like, I mean, like the final score last night, 149 to 106. And you're like, holy cow, the biggest blowout you've ever seen, which, I mean, that is a big blowout. It's crazy that the Nuggets won game 1 2 days before that. Mm-hmm. And they're probably going to be favored in game 3 at home. Like it's just kind of how it works. And so the NBA is a weird product because like there are going to be several blowouts down the stretch here in the playoffs, even in the finals. But also you could see like in 6 minutes, an 18-point lead could just evaporate just like that. And so it's kind of one of those games like you can never really take your eye off of because how the shot making in the NBA at this point is just unreal.
Yeah, no, it is. It absolutely is. So there you have it. There's our heavy hitters for today. But we also want to keep it moving here because, again, Corey Robinson, the Arkansas Razorback offensive lineman, will be joining us at around 1:30 today. And so we look forward to catching up with him and seeing all that he's got going on. But we'll have a little bit of what's more likely presented by BetSaracen, number one sports betting app. You can go to BetSaracen.com. You can also download the app on iPhone or on Android and get it going that way too. And they have all the specials, all the futures, all that good stuff too. But I did want to set this up because apparently people are pretty upset. You know, the Egg Bowl, this is random, but the Egg Bowl is not on Thanksgiving this year. The Ole Miss Mississippi State game, they moved it to Friday. Get this, Friday at 11 a.m. Black Friday. So
that's interesting. Are people mad about this?
Some, like, you know, everyone's going to be mad about everything, but it's just, you know, how people are in college sports and college football traditions. They don't like their traditions getting messed with. And that's been a tradition. So yeah, it's going to be on, I guess it's in Starkville. It doesn't say what channel it's going to be on, which I assume it's be on one of the family networks of ESPN. But either way, 11 a.m. day after Thanksgiving, the Egg Bowl. It's not going to get as weird. It's not going to have as many crazy moments. It felt like nighttime Thanksgiving is always going to make it weird.
Yeah, you get the kid peeing on the goalposts. Like there's always funny stuff, and it's just kind of a thing you like to have. You know, while you're post Thanksgiving, you're hanging out with random in-laws or whoever, and you're just like, let's throw on a game. What's on? Oh yeah, the Egg Bowl's on tonight. Like you got to have that on. That's tough. Did you see Louisville and Kentucky are not playing basketball? They're playing like in early November in basketball. People are really mad about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's reasons behind some of that stuff that happens, but I'm like, if it's a tradition and if it's been like that forever and everyone's happy with it, then why change it? Like, why do something different? I know television is what rules it all and the media rights, but like why couldn't they just keep it where it was at? Like, what was it about the game itself and the schedule of the game that they just had to refuse, move it to something else? And also, like, if at this game with Ole Miss and Mississippi State, was anybody sitting there saying, man, I'm tired of playing on Thanksgiving? It was Ole Miss fans and Mississippi State fans tired of playing on Thanksgiving?
Maybe the coaches or just the athletic departments themselves, maybe, because they're the ones that like would have the right to be upset about it, you know, if they're playing on Thanksgiving. But the way I view it is you'd probably like to play on Thursday, because I mean, if you're playing on Friday, it's not like you can go spend Thanksgiving with your family anyway. You know, you're going to be there anyway. I would probably like it where it's like, hey, we play on Thursday, then on Friday I can fly out of town and go visit family and do whatever I got to do.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, And I was thinking that, Arkansas and LSU, back where this country was great, when they played, it was Friday at 1:00, like every day, every Friday. It was on CBS. You just knew every single time. And I want to say in 2009, one random year, they moved it to Saturday at like night on ESPN. Something crazy because I think that was the year that, Joe Adams almost died from getting hit. LSU had those weird gold helmets. It was just a very strange game. But like,
Tejada missed a kick to end the game.
Yeah, but I still think it was more about LSU getting the call from the official where they stopped the clock, and even though he's in bounds, we don't need to go there again. But
that was a vintage Ryan Mallett performance. He was like 15 for 39 from
yes, yeah,
just airing it out, bro,
for 300 yards. And that was also real quick the game where after he threw that touchdown to Joe Adams, he ran towards the sidelines going nuts because it was an incredible play. And I'll never forget, it was Aaron Andrews was on the sideline reporter. And they went to overtime, and she was just basically like, yeah, Ryan came over, and after when he threw that touchdown pass, he looked over at me and he said, I told you, Aaron. But yet he never told me once before or previously that he was going to throw a touchdown. And I was just like, Aaron, come on, man. He's just saying that, and whoever's around. Yeah, he's like, whoever's around, he's just, I told you. He didn't tell you personally, but it's just, that's what he did. So, but the point is that game being on that Saturday night, I remember how much I hated it. It sucked. It was weird. Now you don't even have that game at all. But it's just sometimes when it gets out of the norm, people get used to it and they're fine with it. Who knows? Maybe when the game was announced, when it first was going to be the day after Thanksgiving on Friday at 1 p.m., there may have been people pissed off about that. But geez, I was trying on going on a trip. But you get used to it. It stays there and ends up being fine. So, with Arkansas, Missouri, does it matter? Would you rather have on Friday or Saturday, or does it even matter at this point?
I think they should skip it for a year or two.
That would be kind of nice.
It really does not matter to me one bit, honestly. I don't like you said, we felt something about Arkansas LSU, we cared about when that game was. We kind of knew Arkansas, Missouri, they could play it on Saturn for all I care.
At this point in time, yes, they could. I would hope that they would maybe bring it back, Arkansas, or at least Arkansas and somebody else. It's never going to happen. It was just right there, though, and that's another thing. I don't want to go on a whole diatribe about this, but that was one thing. It was right there when Texas and Oklahoma joined the SEC. I know that Arkansas and Texas weren't going to play on the final game because that's for Texas A&M. Fine, but how nice would it be if it was Arkansas and Oklahoma with the close proximity, just going back and forth? And give Missouri, I guess at that point, they wouldn't have LSU Missouri play. Or even if he gave that game back and made Oklahoma and Missouri play, they're all Big 8 rivals or whatever it is. Just something like that. They had it. They could have done it, but they chose not to because reasons, I'm sure. So I'm just still pissed off about all that stuff. Anyways, we'll get to more of your chats. But I will say we're going to do a little bit of what's more likely action. Just a few of these before you get to your chats. How about this? Because we talked to Arkansas beating LSU, Tennessee, all of that. But how about this? What's more likely, Arkansas to sweep LSU or Arkansas to sweep Tennessee?
I feel like sweep Tennessee just because it's at home. And I think the last time Tennessee came to Fayetteville, they swept them. They're also Tennessee's sneaky. They're obviously very good. They're going to be a threat. They also might have the best pitcher in the SEC, Liam Doyle. But they have not been playing great. I mean, Auburn just beat them. I think they've lost 4 out of their last 5 series, something like that. I think and who knows how they'll look by the time they get here, but they look a little bit more vulnerable to me. LSU, I would argue, has kind of underachieved a little bit, but they still are a little bit more dangerous to me. I think LSU's roster top to bottom is when I compare Arkansas to other teams in the country, LSU's the one that even back to the preseason, I wasn't I couldn't definitively say Arkansas has a way better roster. And they're really the only team I kind of feel that way about. Even Tennessee, I look at their roster. I think the talent in their lineup has kind of taken a little bit of a step back this past year. And their pitching, they got some good frontline arms, but I think Arkansas has more depth. LSU is probably the better overall team, and you're on the road. So I'm going to go sweeping Tennessee.
Yeah, here's the thing is I'd agree with you. If Arkansas swept LSU, though, this weekend, I hate to be this way, but they're not going to beat Tennessee. I just don't see that happening.
Starters. If you sweep LSU, just throw Colin Fisher game 1.
Yep, put Gibbler out there. Just do whatever. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they sweep either of them, as cool as it may be. But I will say, for a bold take, if it's even that, I think Arkansas run rules one of their next 6 games and a win.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Just
They've been flirting with a run rule here.
Yeah, they've been getting close to it for sure. All right, so how about this? What's more likely, Vahiva Lloyd to not homer again this season, or Arkansas to lose out the rest of the regular season?
They're not losing out. I don't think Arkansas is losing out, but I also don't think Vahiva Lloyd's. I mean, obviously, I think he's going to homer. I'm going to go with that option as the more likely one because there's, I'm not even going to say some of these things. There's things that can happen to where that wouldn't happen. So it's probably more likely. I just don't think Arkansas is bad enough to lose 6 straight games. Hell, even in Arkansas's stretch where they were playing the worst baseball all year, they still won a game each weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they still didn't get. So I don't see Arkansas getting swept here 6 times.
Yeah. I mean, but again, both of these things will not happen. But if I was going to go with 1-2, I'd probably be the not to homer again.
I mean, plus he's also going to get pitched around a lot. Like he could hit 350 without home runs. You know what I mean? Like that's possible.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things that could come into play there. How about this one? What's more likely, John Calipari to win National Coach of the Year or Arkansas to make a bowl game this season?
I'm going to go bowl game. Only because, as you know, John, Cal winning Coach of the Year would require Arkansas to probably go like 29-3. Like realistically, like if Arkansas, let's say Arkansas finishes, 13-5 in SEC play. They're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the SEC. They're a 3 seed in the tournament. Like things go very well. Is Cal going to win Coach of the Year? Probably not, because the Coach of the Year is always the guy that, one, it's either the best coach on the best team, the guy that the number 1 overall seed, which Arkansas maybe could be that, or it's the team that had the big turnaround. And Arkansas is not really a candidate for that. So I think Arkansas making a bowl game is actually more likely, though I don't think it happens.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But yeah, the Coach of the Year would be a long shot. But then there's some people that feel like the long shot is Arkansas making a bowl game. So could go.
I do think these are unlike. These are two both unlikely. I think each of these last 2, neither are going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and I'll throw this one out there too. What's more likely, Aloy and Ellis, Bri Ellis, by the way, to both win Player of the Year in their respective sports, or neither of them to win Player of the Year in their respective sports?
So, okay, I pray that the answer to this question is win both, because I think Bri, like, if she doesn't win Player of the Year in the SEC softball, like, what the hell are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, that would be messed up. I talked about it on the pod this week. Like, if you're looking at candidates, Vahiva Aloy is probably the favorite right now to win SEC Player of the Year. Now, there's a couple guys that are in that same mix. Vahiva Aloy struggles these last 2 weeks. Those guys go off. That could change quickly. But, like, Vahiva Aloy, as it stands today, might have the best resume for Player of the Year. I think it's very much in play that both the baseball and softball SEC Player of the Year are Razorbacks.
I'm going to go with both. I think Bri Ellis, if she doesn't win it, then there is truly a conspiracy against Arkansas and their players and their athletes. That's like just fact of the matter.
I would say it's 50-50 on Vahiva. Like, I really do think it's a coin flip. Like, there's like 2 or 3 guys kind of on that mix. Robbie Burnett from Georgia's having a good year. His teammate Zaborowski's having a good year. One of the pitchers, Liam Doyle, he's been really good as well. Like, he could maybe win it. But I feel like Vahiva's in that mix. He's got about a 50-50 chance. Bri, I feel like, has like an 80-90% chance, right? Or maybe even higher than that.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, she literally is breaking the record for home runs in a single season in the SEC. I just don't understand how you could not give her that nod there too. So we had David apparently coming in. He just wanted to give his own takes on what's more likely. David says, what's more likely? Cal adds 2 more guys from the portal, or Cal adds 0 to the roster? I think 0.
I could already, like, if Curtis were on the show today, he'd be shaking his head so hard right now because he would have to begrudgingly say 0 is probably the answer. I don't know though, dude. I mean, so here's the qualification I would put. If Carter Knox stays in the draft, which I know that's a big if, and I don't expect that to happen. If Carter Knox stays in the draft, I think Arkansas probably would add 2 more portal guys. Realistically, I think there's a very good chance that the option in the middle is what happens here. Is they get Carter Knox back and they add some random shooter or add some random 4-man. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go. So okay, I'm still going to go 2. Because I think I do think they're going to be 2 like random throw-ins, player to be named later. Like these are not going to be Jameer Watkins type of additions. They're just going to be guys that are there.
Yeah. I'd go with that. But I still think 0 just because nothing's gone the way I thought it would anyways. So why just assume that there's going to be more additions? But no, that's a good one. He also goes, what's more likely, Hunter Dietz pitches this weekend or a meteor hits Baham?
I mean, listen. I'm going to go Hunter Dietz pitches this weekend, and I'm not super confident in it. Like, I think the meteor can't be ruled out here. I don't even know if I would say I expect Hunter Dietz to pitch this weekend. Dave keeps talking about it like he's like, right there. The only reason I'm skeptical on it, what Dave says, is because they had a tailor-made opportunity. It was 9-0 on Friday night, and there was 1 inning to pitch. And they gave it to Will McIntyre, and there's no shame in that. I mean, Dave said, I just wanted to kind of take care of this game, didn't want to risk losing the momentum. If you didn't pitch him when you were up 9-0, are you going to pitch him when you're up 6-4 or down 6-4, like in Baton Rouge at home against Texas? Like that would have been the time to do it. So I don't know, man, but I do think that the staff is probably looking at it and they're like, damn, we probably should have thrown him in one of these games because now we're going to throw him in there cold turkey. So I think there's some urgency. I'm going to lean Hunter Dietz pitches this weekend.
Yeah, I would lean towards that because we don't need a meteor to hit Baham. That doesn't need to happen.
No, we don't.
It's a good spot. You don't need to have those issues.
But if a meteor does hit Baham, assuming that like the players aren't there, this now becomes a season where it's like Arkansas would have to like go ahead and bet on Arkansas to win the national title if a meteor does hit Baham. This would become the meteor season.
Yep, the meteor season. You got the possum? The rally possum would be the rally meteor.
The interim coach bump, and you get the meteor hit your facility bump.
Yep, that's right. It's that's the rules. That's how it goes. All right, a few of your chats. Let's see. Austin from work says, coming in on 2 wheels today. Had a lunch meeting at noon. Took it personal that they were making me miss Inside Arkansas. You should take it personally. That should never
also,
happen.
Austin from work. What line of work are we talking here?
I'd say if you got your own username being from work, then you got to be doing something that a lot of people know you from work, because that's would be the only thing I would understand. So yeah, let us know if you want exactly what you do for a living.
He must have really big coworker energy. You know how like some people just have, I mean, our line of work's a little bit weird. I don't know if either of us do, but like, people that work in an office, everybody has like a coworker, like a guy who's like that's my coworker.
Yeah. That's the guy that you count on, or the girl you count on to like hang out and to do things and to all that from work.
And it's like you don't even imagine them in any other context other than work. You're just like, this is what they do.
that's just what they do. Shep's over here saying, could Basil come up with another rivalry game name? I could see it now being the Oklahoma Battle Line Boot Rivalry. I mean,
they should name if Arkansas does get Oklahoma on Thanksgiving weekend one year, we should name it the stupidest thing possible.
Oh yeah. They should happen. But the Oklahoma thing is going to be what it's called, because I wanted to say there's a business or has been a business or some sort of trade of like the Oklahoma was already like mentioned. So it would be something like that. I don't know what because the shape of the thing is almost like kind of like a rifle, because the little peninsula thing for Oklahoma looks like a gun, something like that. I don't know. I'm putting ideas in people's heads I don't want.
I'm going the Muskogee Diamond Rivalry.
Diamond Rivalry. There you go. Matty Ice is just appreciate the super chase. There's John going full hat mode now. I'm telling you, like I didn't like the way I looked in hats, and I started wearing hats. I'm like, man, it's kind of comfortable actually. It's kind of nice, but I don't know if it'll stay. We'll see. Because I mean, Andrew's the hat guy. I can't take that from him, but on occasion, I'll rock a hat.
There's plenty of hats to go around, man. It's summertime too. You know what I mean? Like it's hat season.
Yes, it is that. I don't know. It feels good. We'll see though, because B Walter saying keep rocking the hats, Sean. Thank you, B Walter. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Shout out to Mark. I guess the Kentucky fan says, you guys are on drugs. Seriously, you think Cal will get you 2 titles?
I highlighted this because it's just funny because like if you listen to the segment, we very clearly were like doing a hypothetical game of like, hey, what would happen if Cal did this? What would happen if this happened? What would happen if that happened? Like nobody is sitting here being like, let's set the over under at 2.5 for titles for John Calipari. It's just crazy, like the media literacy of some of these folks that come in here. Like, why do you, if you're going to be a Kentucky fan that comes in and listens to the show, at least listen and like try and understand the words that come out and put it together and like, but I don't know. I feel like people just want to argue. And so they're like, they find something they can latch onto and they're like, oh, I'm going to argue that. Even if that's not the actual point they were making, I'm going to argue that.
Yeah. Just people are going to say whatever they want to say, regardless of what's going on. By the way, on Bias Brim, our guy says, John, if you keep wearing hats, you're going to go bald. Isn't this like an old wives' tale that people kept, or is there any truth to it that people say, oh, if you wear hats all the time, that's what causes you to go bald? I just thought it was genetics. I don't know how much a hat has to do with it, but
I'm going to be a pretty good guinea pig for this. Cause like my dad is not bald. I wouldn't say he's got like a long, luscious locks or anything, but like he's getting up near 70 years old and he's not bald. So if I'm 33 years old and bald, it probably means that my hats did that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I haven't started losing my hairline yet, but I do have a pretty wild widow's peak. So I hope I don't start balding.
Well, my thing is I know there are some examples of it, but I would just feel like that would mean every single like Major League Baseball player would be bald, like every single one of them.
Yeah.
Because that's literally, they're wearing hats every day of their lives. And I don't think that all of them have done that. So I don't know. That's just me, but still it's,
it's crazy. So I was talking to someone at Bomb the other day, a woman, and she was talking about how Nate Thompson is like they call it hat fishing, guys that wear the hat and you're like, wow, that guy's a good looking guy. And he takes off the hat and you're like, Nate Thompson is kind of that a little bit because he's bald. And when he's wearing the hat, you're like, wow, this is a big guy. Like, okay, there you go. And then he takes off the hat and you're like, oh shit. Dave's the opposite, in my opinion, where without a hat on, Dave, I'm like, he looks better without a hat than he does with a hat. He's got like a nice little head of hair too.
Yeah. No, Dave's like the quintessential example of, again, why I feel like it's an old wives' tale. That dude's been wearing a hat his entire life and he's not bald at all.
His hairline's sturdy, bro. It's there.
Yeah. Because then people are going to be like, oh, well, it's because he's doing this or he's because, I think it's just, that's the way it is. So, because I also like this from Colton. He says, John, what's more likely? Curtis gets a mullet or Andrew goes bald? Andrew goes bald. Yes. Curtis has had one hairstyle pretty much the entire time I've known him. And then on occasion, he'll like send some like old pictures of him. Like even that one we had like our school pictures when we were kids out there, he's still got the same haircut. So I doubt that's changing when he's 36 years old. I doubt that he's like, you know what? Now's the time. Now's the time I'm going to change up my hair and, make it all different. So, but I think that answer is pretty obvious too. So, David said old wives' tale or old wives' tale? I think it's old wives' tale, right?
Wives, right?
Yeah. Pretty sure that's what it is.
Multiple wives.
Yeah. Could be wrong. Of course, probably going to get in trouble from somebody saying that. Just be like, how dare you? But no, that's how I've always.
Berenstein Bears things. What's the term for that? Where it's like something changed over the years and we didn't notice it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do, but I don't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I forgot the term it's called. But yes, I do know.
I like this comment from Bobby who says, usually balding men wear hats, not the other way around. Yeah, it's a chicken or egg thing where it's like, are you bald because you've been wearing hats or are you wearing hats because you're bald? I think that's a very good point.
Yeah, no, that is. I don't know. Like, it's not that I'm balding, but I don't have a great hairline. So
everybody's saying Mandela effect. That's what it is, where over time it's changed and you're like, no, let me Google this. I know I'm right. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. How about this? It says from Debbie says, basketball player from Texas Tech just got granted a medical hardship waiver, making him eligible for his 7th year of college basketball. Yeah, it's Devin Cambridge is the player. And he's the 6'6". He's 100% healthy because he's battled injuries for the last 2 seasons. He was also at Auburn and Arizona State. So yeah, coming back for 7th year. Kudos to him. But
this is why I always say, dude, if you're questioning your eligibility, just apply and you'll probably get a hardship. You can find something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just in this day and age, I just assume anybody can come back if they really want to. If they really, really want to, they can find a way. Let's see. Oh yeah. Real quick. I want to play this video because I know we have Corey Robinson in a bit, but this also cracked me up from the NBA game last night. Did you see the security lady at TD Garden trying to get those Knicks fans out? I
don't know if I did.
Dude, I don't know why I found this so funny, but these Knicks, I'm not saying that that she didn't have a reason to kick them out, but it was just really funny because nobody was doing anything and these guys were just partying. So check this out. Like, I just love that she's like, get security, get them out, and nothing happens. Just the security guy walks over, he's like, what are you gonna do?
I was impressed with how she handled the fall. You know, like she straight up fell over, knocking those chairs down, and then kind of recovered and held it okay. She played it off okay, but she straight up knocked over those chairs.
Yeah, I just really love that story. I love that video. And the guy's Nixon 4. That's the thing. Nixon 4. They might do it.
Sons and 4 guy.
What's up?
From like, there was a guy, I guess it was like 4 or 5 years ago, who like, I don't know, did he like punch a guy in the face and then was like, Sons and 4?
Yeah,
and,
they were trying to like kick him out, and he was hammered as can be. He's just like Nixon 4 or Sons and 4, Sons and 4. He just kept saying that. So I think that's where
he became like a legend on Twitter and like Suns Twitter. They were like, oh, this guy's awesome.
Yep, and you could say that's the reason why they lost it all. But still, Pooh Bear wants to know, what are y'all's thoughts on Nick Saban becoming the co-chair of the NCAA and the main chair of a Texas billionaire who's an alumni of Texas Tech?
Here's my take, and this is not. I probably shouldn't say this as a guy who gets paid to talk about sports for a living. I don't care about the committee. I really don't. Like I've never cared when Jeff Long was running the committee. Didn't care when Hunter Yurachek joined the committee. When Oliver Luck ran the committee, it's like I really don't care what these suits get in and saying. Like Nick Saban, you know, obviously he's got a great resume in college football. I don't know enough about what goes into the job to know whether or not one guy's going to do a good job, one guy's not. You know, like it's all fine, and ultimately, it's like we're going to yell at the committee no matter what. Anyway,
are you referring to the playoff committee, or what are you referring to?
I don't know what committee he's talking about.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I was making sure that I was thinking about the same thing, because I was, assuming that he was referring to as the co-chair for the Trump administration's Commission on College Football. I assume that's what it is. So
I don't know what the hell that is. So
yeah, it basically what made me laugh because I'm like, it sounds like just a big name for somebody that's just going to help out. But essentially what according to the story is that he's expected to co-chair, and what additionally Texas, businessman Cody Campbell and Texas Tech Matador Club NIL Collective is going to be on it. The commission would examine prominent issues facing college sports like the transfer portal, unregulated booster compensation that goes directly to athletes, the employment of college athletes, and Title IX, among other hot topics.
I think if you're an old guy who really doesn't like the way that college football is trending and wants it to go back, like wants there to be like a little bit more rules in place, Saban's probably the guy you want in there because he's been very not anti-portal, but like, you know, it's a big part of why he left the game. And so I'm sure he would like to be a part of getting some regulation in here. So I'm sure people will be excited from that standpoint. But like I said, like I don't really know what these suits and these decisions, like I don't know how that process looks. Like has there been a chair of a committee? Like who served in Saban's job before him? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah,
it's basically where they're just trying to figure out, which I'm for it, because they're trying to figure out ways to have law get into place of trying to fix all this nonsense that's going on. And to me, I'm like, if you're going to have somebody who knows college football, and it's Nick Saban, you can like him, love him, or hate him, but I doubt he's going to go in there and be like, well, I'm going to do what I can to help Alabama out. Like, no, I think he's just, I think he truly wants it to work. So, I mean, I'm all for whatever helps fixing it and whatever gets everybody on the same page, because that's the biggest deal is that you have different state laws that have different things. It needs to be a federal thing. So hopefully whatever it is, they get it fixed and get it figured out. So I'm for it. I like it.
You know, one thing we always say with this is we always feel bad for the coaches because we're like, this sucks for them. Like they have to, have to handle all these different things. Saban will almost certainly bring some of that perspective of like, hey, when I was a coach, here's the stuff that I hated. Here's the stuff that got in the way of me doing my job. Let's fix this. You know what I mean? So I'm sure it'll help from that standpoint. I imagine it's going to be, it's like almost an overcorrection. Anytime the pendulum swings one way or the other, now we're about to like really put a bunch of rules and regulations and handicap a lot of these situations. And then you'll have the players and the coaches fight back. And well, actually we need to be able to do it. And it'll go back and forth a few times.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It won't be a quick fix no matter what it is, but, all right. So as we talked about, current Razorback and offensive lineman Corey Robinson, who is a transfer from Georgia Tech, had a chance to catch up with him. One of the big gets for Arkansas, and Sam Pittman out of the transfer portal, expected to be an immediate starter. And he was kind enough to join us to talk a little bit about his journey, about Arkansas, about spring ball, and just about him himself. So let's go ahead and hear from the man himself, Corey Robinson. Right now here on Inside Arkansas Live, we always enjoy talking to a lot of different guests that come from across the world, whether it's college football, college basketball, each and every person. But there's always something special when you get to catch up with an actual Razorback. And it's a Razorback football player, and he is one of the newest additions to the Razorback football team. Is offensive lineman Corey Robinson. He is a transfer from Georgia Tech, and is going to be playing his redshirt senior season here at the University of Arkansas. And Corey, really appreciate you joining us, man. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing really good. Happy to be here and get to be on the show with you.
Well, it's good to talk with you. And I just want to start because, obviously it's crazy in this modern era of college football, transfer portal, NIL, madness, it seems like going all across the board. And I know that, of course, you being a veteran, you've played college football for a while, but just kind of talk us through the journey of you deciding to go into the portal and what it was about Arkansas, about Sam Pittman, about what they got going on here in Fayetteville that made you decide that this was the place you wanted to play your redshirt senior season.
Yeah, for sure. Hitting the portal for me was a decision I talked about with my family. Just wanted to be able to play against the best competition in a system that I think would make the most sense for me in my future. And then when it came down to looking for schools, I wanted to really find a place where I'd be valued and developed. And I seen that immediately with Arkansas, meeting Coach Pittman, Coach Mateos. They instantly showed me a lot of love straight through the door, and it steered my decision a lot.
So when you were deciding about all these different schools to go to as well, did you go on visits? Did you just have Zoom discussions, kind of like what we're doing now? Just what was the recruitment process like when it came to Arkansas specifically in the transfer portal and the conversations you had leading up to it?
Yeah, for sure. I think as soon as I hit the portal, Coach Mateos had reached out to me. Pretty sure he had texted my number or hit me up through Twitter or something like that. And then after that, it was Fernando and Taylor. And they just really just reaching out and letting me know that they could use me, and they'd love to have me on the team and get me out there for a visit. And that was pretty much the start.
So when you decided to go to Arkansas and you've gone through spring practices and everything, just walk us through that process, because I know you've played for different teams. You've kind of gone from junior high, high school, colleges, and everything. But what was that like, being able to not only get on the field in spring practice, but the acclimation with your teammates, the rapport that you built with them? Just what was that like this spring in Fayetteville?
Yeah, for sure. The good thing about, the spring is that you get the whole time of winter workouts, really to build that camaraderie with the team and let everybody kind of get to know each other. So really, as soon as I got there, all the guys were really cool. We were working out together throughout the whole winter time leading up to spring ball. And then when spring ball came, we got to really all get to play together. That really kind of built an even closer bond and connection pretty quick. So that part really came pretty easy. But I would just say when it came to spring ball, just the energy really stuck out to me. I guess I would say how hard everybody was going every day. It stuck out. You could tell that everybody really cares a lot about the direction that this program is going and is headed.
So talk to me about Taylor Green, because he is a very unique quarterback. He had a good season last year here at Arkansas, and a lot of people are excited about him, but he's a very unique player. I mean, he's 6'6". He can move, he can throw and everything. But what do you make of him as an athlete, and the ability that you've seen from him as the quarterback position, but also him as the person, him as the leader, him as the guy in the huddle that's going to command all the attention, and the guy you have to protect and make sure he stays upright and doesn't get hurt this year?
Yeah, I would say as a person, it's even greater than, who he is on the field. Since my first day here, he showed me a lot of love and just making sure I was good and settling in pretty well. Just checking up on me. When I took my visit, he spent a lot of time just talking to my dad and just letting him, kind of get to meet him and everything. And just always has been very genuine since my first day meeting him. He's definitely like a brother to me now, I'd say. And I can't wait for the season. On the field, as you guys know, he's very dynamic. He runs, he can throw, he moves around the pocket well. He's a true leader on the field. Probably one of the most talented quarterbacks, I've gotten to play with. And I'm excited. You never know what you're gonna get. Defense is gonna be on their toes for sure with Taylor.
Well, we're speaking with Corey Robinson, the newest addition to the Razorback football team this spring here on Inside Arkansas Live. So, Corey, obviously it's about the style and the system and where you're at. I know you've probably been an offensive lineman for a lot, main part of your life, and you've also maybe moved around a little bit. But what kind of position are you going to be locking into here on the offensive line? Have you cross-trained in any other positions? Because I know Sam Pittman and Coach Mateos have been big on that. Are you settled into a position, or is it just, hey, wherever they need you to go, whatever you need to do, that's what you're going to end up doing?
Yeah, I'm definitely open to, wherever they need me. I just want to, of course, be on the field. That's the biggest thing. But as of right now, I've been at left tackle for the full spring.
Okay, so being at left tackle, what is that like? Because I've always heard about, protecting blind side and having to, play a different position where front of his right tackle and everything. But is that just something you feel most natural about? And what's some of the difficulties that come along with and the challenges come along with playing that particular position, especially in the SEC this season?
Yeah, for sure. Left tackle, it's a hard position, but it's where I've been at my entire career. So it's where I would say I feel most at home. But you get a lot of different looks. You get a lot of good edge rushes in this conference. You got to be athletic, be able to move, and of course, be able to protect that blind side. But yeah, that's definitely where I feel most comfortable.
So what's Fayetteville been like for you? I know that you're a guy from Georgia. I don't know how often you spent time in Fayetteville, if you ever came to Fayetteville before here you arrived on campus. But what's it been like for you? And have you been to Fayetteville before you officially became a Razorback before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've never been to Fayetteville before taking my visit. It's definitely a cool spot. It's much different than Atlanta, but it's definitely, I like it a lot. It's very calm. It's very chill. Everybody's very nice and very welcoming, which is cool. But it's definitely different. It's a lot calmer, but I like it. I like being in Fayetteville a lot.
So if you weren't playing football, Corey, what would you be doing? I think everyone's got a hobby, and I know football is a big part of your life, but what do you think what you'd like to do? And what do you like doing outside of football practices and games and everything like that?
Yeah, outside of football, I play a lot of video games, like with my boys. I'm on NCAA a lot, play a little Call of Duty, 2K, really whatever. I really don't know what I'd be doing outside of ball, but really, like, when I'm not on the field, I'm usually at home on the game or just hanging out with my boys or my teammates.
So I got to ask you, if you're playing college football, which team is your team? Do you create your own, or do you have a certain team that you always play with on college football?
Yeah, right now I play with the Razorbacks. I'm a Hog now, so that's who I play with for sure. But anybody I get, I'm gonna win with them. But that's my first choice for sure.
Yeah, because I was also going to ask. I know the new game hasn't come out yet, but you were on the game last year. How'd you feel about your rating, and do you feel like they need to up your rating a little bit this upcoming on the new game?
Yeah, the rating, it could be higher. I'll say it could definitely be a little higher. They upped it a lot from last season. I know I started, they had me like a 75, end the season like an 81. I'm hoping, they take a little closer look and, bump me up a little bit. I think I might have earned it after last season. I hope so. But it's always fun seeing yourself on a video game. That's like a childhood dream. So, honestly, whatever they give, I'm just be happy to see myself out there with Arkansas on my chest.
Yeah, I think they need to have that feature where you can edit your roster and edit your players and kind of boost the ratings like they used to back in the day. I don't know why they don't allow that. So it'd be nice if they did that. But yeah, and I know also too, you mentioned you being from Georgia and in that area and kind of where you've come from in your football journey and everything like that. Just obviously the goal is to go into the NFL and play in the NFL. But what has that journey been like for you from high school and going through college and the development and things that you've really felt like you've improved on and you've worked on, not only physically, but also mentally preparing for this moment and for this season for the Razorbacks in your final year of college?
For sure. Yeah, like for me, coming up, it really wasn't that easy. I think some people have a lot of natural ability in football, and for me, that really just wasn't the case. throughout middle school, I wasn't that good. Freshman year, I still really wasn't that good. I really didn't start getting good at football and really like getting off the bench until my junior year of high school. I didn't start until my senior year of high school, but I really just stuck with it and just kept working. I always loved the game, and I just knew if I worked, I could achieve whatever it was I had put my mind to. And that mindset has really carried me up until now. Ended up leaving high school as a 3-star, went to Kansas, stayed there for a year, and of course, as you know, the 3 years at Georgia Tech. And it's been a long ride, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So was there another sport that you did play or that you'd also enjoyed on top of football? Because I always feel like, man, athletes, you just want to play sports, and a lot of guys have to focus in on sports sometimes, maybe unfairly. But was there any other sport that you played often that you really enjoyed as well in addition to football?
Yeah, when I was younger, I played a lot of baseball up until going into like 8th grade is pretty much like when I stopped. But once I picked up football, I just really wanted to focus on that. So when I wasn't playing football in the season, I was really just training and just trying to get better, really. But yeah, that football is for sure my main focus as I got older.
Well, and with football now, we mentioned, of course, like transfer portal and NIL. I know you're a few years older than a lot of current college athletes and everything. Is it a stressful thing? Because, from outsiders' perspective looking in, all we see is players transferring here and all of that. And there used to be a way of, hey, you just get recruited when you're in high school and then that's it. But now you get recruited out of the portal and everything. Was it a stressful time for you during that whole process, maybe a little overwhelming, or was it something that you had the right people surrounding you and helping you out with all those processes?
Yeah, I would say at the start it was a little bit, I guess you could say, overwhelming just with all the calls and everything. But it really wasn't that stressful for me because I knew I was in it for the right reasons. I knew why I left Georgia Tech, and I knew exactly what I was looking for. It really wasn't about a monetary benefit or something like that. I wanted to, just feel valued, and I wanted to have the best coaching, and I wanted to be in a position that would set me up best for the next level. So, when you're looking for stuff that could, like that could really change your life, I guess it's different. You're more excited than I guess you would be anxious.
Which is understandable. And I'm sure that you came into Fayetteville with a particular goal in mind. So I know the team, hey, you want to win a national championship. Everybody wants that. That's the team goal. But for you as an individual, what is the goal for Corey Robinson this season at Arkansas as an individual kind of entering into that part of your career? What's the main thing you want to focus on and achieve goal individually this season?
Yeah, for me, of course, it'd be, being the best version of myself every day. And I think for me, that would look like another year being one of the best pass blockers in the country, and would be getting drafted as a top 3-round pick for next season. That would be, that'd be my goal.
Okay, so I got to ask you about some of your teammates. Who's the goofiest teammate that you have to deal with? The guy that's always messing around, cracking everybody up, the class clown, if you will. Who's that on the team for the Razorbacks?
I wouldn't say class clown, but one of the funniest guys on our team is probably Cam Ball. He's somebody that always keeps spirits high in the locker room, especially, with him being hurt throughout spring. He definitely still came in with the same energy every single day. And just bring a laugh really to everybody.
Because I guess in your situation too, Arkansas had some guys move on at the offensive line position last year. You mentioned Fernando Carmona, who's back for the Razorbacks, a few others, but it seems like there's a lot of new faces besides yourself there at the offensive line position. So what has that been like? Is it something you connect with the other O linemen too? As, hey, we're all new, a new team, everything all in together. And also who's really stood out to you as far as on the offensive line that's really done a good job and has really done some good development throughout the spring this past year?
Yeah, no, I've definitely enjoyed all the transfers that's been in. Shaq, Caden, Kavion. It's been great getting to know them and just getting to get to work with those guys as well. I would say everybody came in with a mentality of trying to work, which I felt like is very good to see. Because we can push each other. I would say who's impressed me just from an offensive line perspective. Playing next to Fernando has been great. He definitely elevates me every single day. I try to do the same thing for him. And then I'll also say Big Shaq, of course, he's 6'8". He looks really good. And then Kavion, he's young, but he's gonna be really good as well.
So now I got to ask you the other side of the ball. You're going up against the D linemen in practices and everything. Has there been of course you've dominated them all. I know that, but who's been the defensive lineman that you've been out there going against and having some really great battles up, especially at that defensive end spot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say, Quincy and Charlie, those are the two I go up against the most. Quincy, he looks really good. I definitely think he's going to take a big step this year and show a lot of different stuff in his game that people might not have seen yet. As well with Charlie, he's a really good get off the ball. And they both come to work every single day. And, it's always good competition in practice against both of them.
All right, before I let you get out of here, Corey, I got to ask you about the upcoming season. Obviously, you're prepared for every game, and you guys are going to be there for every game. But is there any particular game that you're really excited about? I mean, you get to go up against college football playoff teams like Notre Dame and Texas and Tennessee, and playing in the SEC, going into some crazy hostile road environments. You're going to be ready for them all. But is there any particular game that you're really excited circling on your calendar that you can't wait to get out there and play in?
Yeah, honestly, for me, I try to make, any moment or any game, bigger than the other. I'm really excited for all of them. It's each going to hold a different story in itself. I'm excited to compete. Some of those teams I've played before. I just played Notre Dame last year. I played Ole Miss 2 years ago. So, it'll be good to go against those guys again. But I'm really excited to play everybody in this conference.
All right, I said it was the last one. I lied. I got one more. So one thing, though, I know a lot of Razorback fans are interested, especially in you, because you're a new player here and might know much about you. But what is the one thing that you want all the Razorback fans out there to know about Corey Robinson? Maybe something that they don't know, maybe something they can't see on the football field. What's something that you would like all of them to know about you?
I would just say, on the field wise, I'm going to give you everything I have every single day. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that I keep this quarterback clean and keep that ball rolling downfield. I'm just a player I just try to elevate myself and everybody around me each day. And that's the biggest thing.
Well, hey, if you do that, Razorback fans are going to love you a lot. I can tell you that. It's going to be awesome. But here's the thing, Corey, we're excited to see how the season goes. We know that it's a few months off, but still, it'll be here before we know it. We appreciate you coming on with us. It's good talking with you, good getting to know you a little bit, and look forward to seeing you play this season. Good luck this season, and hopefully we're able to catch up with you later down the road.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.